Now, you say that there's an empathy crisis.
Yes. And the empathy crisis is that some fascinating researchers in the University of Michigan and actually San Diego have been for 30 years tracking over 72 studies. And what they've done is each incoming college freshman, they take samples of them, but we're talking thousands of them over 30 years, are given this simple little narcissism personality inventory. And in the last 30 years, regardless of zip code, regardless of gender, what we're finding is a 40% drop in empathy and a 58% increase in narcissism.
Wow.
Now that's
Wow.
when there's a red flag going, something is amiss here, because the more self-absorbed our children get, there's a direct correlation, the less the empathy
so
happens.
what's causing this?
It's a toxic
empathy crisis?
It's a real toxic trio, because when I was writing Unselfie, in each chapter that I discovered there's habits that rebuild it, I also discovered there's causes for it. And it's not one thing. It's kind of like pollution. All of a sudden you look and you go, gee, the world is brown. Didn't get that way overnight. It's the steady part. First, certainly social media, only because we've been so focused and so driven to looking at screens that we're not looking at each other. And the first step to really boosting empathy is realizing the other person exists and then being able to read the emotions off of that person. You can't feel for another human being unless you know she looks sad, or now is not the time to ask daddy for the salary raise. You know, it's like those things. The second thing was our culture is becoming kind of racier and raunchier. Just look at just the TV, what's going on. As that happens, though, what we're also seeing is good, solid role models are going down for our kids. That has an impact. Over just the last 10 years. 10 years ago, our kids wanted to grow up and be a leader or a president or a doctor or a teacher. Now the top things on their list are a celebrity. No, a celebrity or an NFL player, because it's all fame and fortune. And then finally, parenting styles. What we've really discovered is that, unfortunately, when we parent our kids, are getting further and further away from what the real science says matters. And so what I really was trying to do when I wrote Unselfie is track what are the actual parenting practices that we should be using that raises a more empathic kid.